In this tutorial, we are going to cover basic compositing techniques to combine two images into one. Now, in this example, the image of the hands was completely separate from the image of the girl's face. So let's get started. So as you can see, I just have an 11 by 17 document set at 300 pixels per inch with my background layer set to black. So go up here to File, Place, and just select the girl.jpg, click on Place, and click the green check mark to commit. And do the same thing again, File, Place, and this time grab the candle image, click on Place, and the green check mark to commit. For right now, we can turn the candle layer off because we won't need it until later. Now, in order to get the dramatic look that we're going for, we need to get rid of the background that the girl is currently on. So just make the girl layer active and select the quick selection tool by pressing W on the keyboard or just going over here to the tools and selecting the quick selection tool. We're going to zoom in a little bit by pressing Command plus on the keyboard. And with a brush about this size, about 125 pixels, we're just going to go over the girl here. Not too concerned about getting a totally accurate selection, but this looks okay. The only thing I'm concerned about is I don't really want any of the street, and I'm not really concerned about her hair. So in order to deselect those areas, we can hold down the Option key, and while we hold down the Option key, just run your mouse over the areas that you don't want selected. So we don't want the street, so we can just go over there, and that looks pretty good. We can grab some of that ear because we do want that. That looks alright. We can do the same on the other side, hold down the Option key, go over the areas that we don't necessarily want selected. Okay, and that looks pretty good. So in order to remove the background from that selection that we have, we can just go over here to the Layers panel and click the Layer Mask icon, and that will drop out everything that wasn't selected. So if we turn the candle layer back on, we can just grab our Move tool again, and we can see that the candle layer is obscuring the girl's face. So we need to do the same thing to the candle that we did to the girl layer. So just grab your quick selection tool again by pressing W on the keyboard and run your mouse over the areas that you do want selected. So that will just be the hands area, and it went way too far there. So again, we don't want the black background selected, so we just hold down the Option key again to erase those areas from our selection, and that looks about good. All we're really concerned about is that V, getting rid of this area up here so we can see the girl's face behind there. So again, we go over to the Layers panel and click the Layer Mask icon, and that gives us the selection that we want. Now that the two layers are roughly cut out of the background, we can start to position them so it looks like they belong together. So we can just turn off the candle layer for now and make the girl layer active, and we can bring up Free Transform by pressing Command T on the keyboard and hold down your Shift and Option keys to constrain the proportions and just scale the girl up a little bit. Right about like that. We can move her up. That looks good. And we can do the same thing to the candle layer, turn the candle layer back on, grab your Move tool to get it in place there, and we can scale that up. Again, press Command T on the keyboard to bring up Free Transform, hold down your Option Shift keys to constrain the proportions, move it down, and that looks about good. Now the next step is to fix the lighting, so it looks like the candle light is actually falling on the girl's face. So select the girl layer again and go up to Filter, Render Lighting Effects. And what we're going to do is we're going to put a spotlight on the girl's face. As you can see in the little preview here, you have options for directional, omni, or spotlight. And we're going to choose spotlight, and you can look at my settings here. I would just play around and see what looks good to you. You can change the size and the direction of the spotlight by working in this little hideous preview over here. You can see, you know, I'm just kind of playing around, but something like that looks good. So just play around with it. That's what I recommend. Just imagine candlelight coming up onto the face, and that looks like something relatively realistic. So we can commit that change, and that right away looks a lot better. Now our composition is really coming together, but the color of the girl still doesn't match the color of the light that is coming from the candle. So in order to do that, we're going to use some blend modes and a solid color adjustment layer. So go down to your layers panel here and click that little half white, half black icon and go up to the solid color adjustment layer and just sample a color from the hands here, kind of like yellow orangish color will work well. Now it's affecting the whole image, which we don't want. So in order to affect just the girl, we're going to go up here and change the blend mode from normal to color burn. You can see that really kind of gets us the effect that we're going for. But right now it's a little bit intense, so we can go up here to our opacity slider. If you just hover over the word opacity, bring up a scrubby slider, and you can move either left or right to change the opacity of that layer. Something around 60% looks good. So now our composition is really looking great. But the one thing that's holding us back is these hard edges on the girl and the hands. So in order to do that, we're going to modify the layer mask that we made earlier. So just go over to the girl layer here and select that layer mask and grab the brush tool by pressing B on the keyboard. And we want a really large, soft brush. So make sure you go up here in the brush picker and make sure that the hardness is all the way down to 0. And back in our window here, you can change the brush size by holding down the left or the right bracket key. The left key will make it smaller and the right bracket key will make it larger. Something like that looks good. And make sure we're on the girl layer mask with our foreground color set to black. You can change the foreground color just by bringing up the foreground color picker here and set it to black. And we're just going to brush on that girl layer mask to soften those edges up. That brush is a little bit big, so we can change the size by the left bracket key. And we're just going to soften these edges here, right around there, to get that really dramatic, soft look. And that's looking a lot better right away. Yep, that looks great. Some of these arms, we don't need any of these arms down here. And then we're going to do the same thing to the candle layer. The girl is looking great. But we can do the same thing to the candle layer. Just select the candle layer mask and grab a nice large soft brush and just brush around here so we don't see that candle layer anymore. Right around here. And right away you can see that looks a lot better. Now you can see, if you zoom in a little closer, you can see we have some of the girl's shoulder peeking through these thumbs because we erased some of the thumbs. So you can go back here to the girl layer mask and just erase some of her shoulders there so we don't see those peeking through. And that looks pretty good. We can adjust the final position of the hands, bring up free transform by pressing Command T, and we can rotate those in a little bit. They look a little bit big to me right now, so I can scale those down just a little bit, right about like that. And then let's select all of our layers over here in the layers panel. So with the candle layer selected, we can shift click on the girl layer to grab all our layers and grab the move tool. And let's just move everything on over to right about there. You know what, we can just scale everything up. So hold down Command T and Option Shift to constrain everything. And let's see, something like that will work. There we go, we can move that down. You know what? Scale everything up even more. Just so we get that big impact right there. There we go. How about something like that? Then we can just bring in our text and we have a final image. So thanks for watching.